Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Eel Stadium here in Antioch, where the Panthers get set to take on the Heritage Patriots. And Dan, this should be a fine ball game, and things a little bit convoluted as far as the playoffs go, but we are just about ready to start as the Patriots get set to tee it up, and the Patriots will kick off here to Antioch. We'll get a chance to see Najee Harris and the gang. And, of course, they'll be going up against a Patriots team, Dan, that can really throw the ball as well. And they put up a lot of points themselves. And we are underway, and here we go for Panther football right here on Delta TV. Anthony Schultz and Dan Wall. This one's going to go out of bounds. That'll draw the penalty flag.
And
it will be the quarterback, Willem Carnthong, for Antioch.
I just wanted to note Kaylee Gross is a female kicker, and she kicked off for Heritage. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dan. So for Carnthong, having himself a pretty good year. 53% on the percentage, 219 yards a game. 168 for 1,757 yards, and the average over 10 yards a carry, 10 yards a throw, pardon me. That's 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And 143.5 yards a game for Carnthong. Man in motion coming to the near side. Ball is lost. And the Antioch is just going to have to drop on that. And they're going to lose several yards on the play. So a tough exchange right there for Isaiah Dunn, who couldn't hold on to the football. He and his 6 touchdown catches this year. And that's a bad way to start for Antioch. And now Najee Harris, the aforementioned Isaiah Dunn, Isaac Freitas, Jameer Wilson, Kobe Williams are the receivers. Fatu, Avery, Sahota, Sandoval, and Garrett Robinson, the quintet across that front line for Antioch.
Little trick play didn't work that time. Now here's Harris.
Harris coming to the near side, out across the 30, picks up some yards, bangs into a defender, and that was number 24, Ryan Sanchez, the senior, who made contact and got the worst of that.
He did get the worst. I was going to say, hello, Mr. Sanchez. I am Najee Harris on that play right there. So, Tony, just quickly before we do the Heritage starters after this, if we get to it, if it's 3rd and 11, but they come out in a 4-3 and looking to force Antioch into some passing situations. This should be one now.
Flip to Harris. Cuts it upfield. Harris breaks a couple of tackles. And then it's going to be gang tackle, but gets very close to the first down yardage on that second effort, and he is going to have it. Harris up to the 46-yard line. That will be a Panther first down. Defensively for the Heritage Panthers, Stanley Jordan is one of the ends. Curtis Dunce, Max Peterson, and Stanley Jett rounding out the front four for the Patriots. First down and 10. Here comes Dunn in motion. There's that little flip. It works a little bit better this time. Couple of blockers out in front. Dunn hitting the face mask and then ridden out of bounds. That was one of the Mack twins, Tyreek Mack, number 5, making the play.
And it was Mack who rode him all the way across the field. Go ahead, Tony, with the rest of the starters.
A.J. Owens, Devin Lance, Ryan Sanchez of the linebackers, Winsome, Mack, Love, and then Tyreek Mack in the secondary for the Heritage Panthers.
Which is also their starting receiver corps. So you're going to see a lot of those 4 guys.
Tight formation. Handoff on the inside. Good yardage picked up that time. And that is going to be Daylon Green, Day Green, the junior, with the nice gain going up the middle to leave him just short of a first down by a couple of yards.
He ran for 175 yards the last time we were here 2 weeks ago against Liberty, Tony. And he's the little speed guy. He's quick. Gets inside those little holes, whereas Najee, of course, is the big power guy, and now it's another short, and Antioch will go for it from this side of the field anyway if they don't get it.
They're going to flip it. Harris tries the left side, wants to cut back. The white shirts are there, but they can't prevent the first down. So Harris showing some patience and letting that offensive line kind of set things up for him, Dan. Able to pick up the first down.
That might be one of his greatest attributes, Tony, is the fact as you look at this replay. Look at him just kind of wait, sees nothing there, then sees a hole because they collapse that side of the line, and he comes back, and of course it takes 3 or 4 guys to get him down.
Max Peterson, the first one to get to him, number 72, to bring him down. But it is going to be 1st and 10. Here's tackle broken. Nice spin move there. And Carthong is going to get inside the 35 down to the 32. Big play here for the quarterback on the keeper, and another first down for Antioch and moving the ball right down the field.
Quarterback draw that time to the right side. The first time they've ran over there, they usually like to go to the left. And Carthong with some good agility, and that's one of his greatest attributes. You know, he's just a sophomore. He's had a good year for a sophomore, 71 of 134, 1,188 yards, 13 touchdowns, but 12 interceptions. That's why Heritage would like to see him throw some tonight.
Harris is going to get it, spins away from a tackler, and then drags another one as he gets down to the 25-yard line. Another good play, and so far Antioch all runs so far, and not having any trouble with the white shirts, at least to this point.
Well, Tony, Heritage, for those of you that are joining us for the first time this season, was 6-0 until they ran into a very, very hot Pittsburgh team, and then last week lost to Freedom. Both those teams, of course, are undefeated and playing about 5 miles from here tonight as well.
And there's that pitch. Now they try the other side, cutting back inside, but not finding a whole lot of room. That time was Isaac Freitas, number 3. And that's a little pitch coming from that shotgun formation. They've tried it a couple of times, Dan. It worked well. Actually, it hasn't worked at all, really. Both times they've been caught and they fumbled the ball once.
It might, you know, one thing about, we mentioned Harris's vision to wait for the hole to develop. Maybe it's because you're running a lot farther across the field to get that pitch, almost a new variation of the hot potato pitch, and they've spread it out along the line both times, and no gains.
They're down at 3. Here's Harris right up the middle, and he's going to have plenty of yardage for that first down as he gets inside the 20 and down to about the 16, 17-yard line. That will be another first down. So when in doubt, just give it to the horse.
There you go. So Heritage 6-2, Antioch 5-3. Here's a replay. Look at him, just waits for that timing. And actually, that's a very rare tackle. One guy brought him down. You don't see that a lot. Antioch's 5-3, and they've qualified now for the D1 playoffs. This game basically for who might host a playoff game in this one.
Carthong with the keeper, and he's going to get inside the 10-yard line, close to another first down.
And Tony, while we have an opportunity, Stephen Corrigan, Garth Robertshaw, Gigi Stavola, Frank LaSala, and Brian Wilson, not to be confused with the leader of the Beach Boys, are our officiating crew tonight.
Second down coming up here. There's Carthong in that very familiar shotgun. Harris has got it right up the middle. He goes, pinballs off a defender. They gang tackle him there, but Najee is going to be down near the 5-yard line. That will bring up a goal-to-go situation. First down and goal here for Antioch, and really not a whole lot of resistance provided by the Heritage defense in this particular series. It's,
you know, this is what Antioch wants, too. That, you know, they want to take some time off the clock as well. You want to force that other team to have to come back and score with them in a lead. And usually when Antioch gets a lead, they're pretty good. It's when they fall behind that they get themselves in trouble.
Harris going to get it again. Looks to bounce it outside and does, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers.
There's no way, if he's got that angle to the goal line, that anyone's going to stop him. I mean, it's almost impossible. You're looking, folks, right here. This is the second to last home game of probably the greatest running back to ever play here, perhaps the greatest running back to ever play in this area. And still talking about Alabama, but, you know, Jim Harbaugh was here a couple weeks ago, and there's some rumors about Michigan and rumors about USC, so we'll wait and see when he announces his final decision.
You know, those verbal commitments don't mean a whole lot. And then right up the middle, and that is going to be an easy 2-point conversion. And just like that, 7:44 to go here in the opening quarter, and the Panthers lead it 8-0.
So Harris adds to his 757 yards, 22 TDs, and 24 PATs that he had coming into the game. Now it's about 1,823 and 25. And I don't know if I've ever seen anyone at any level of football that can run a PAT like Najee Harris. It's just automatic. 8-0 seems to be the score every time we do these games.
So now the Patriots offense will get a chance here.
It'll be interesting to see them. I haven't seen Heritage play, Tony, since I did a game for Comcast Sportsnet against Pittsburgh back in 2009. So this is my first time to seeing the Patriots, who I wish actually wore the real Patriots uniforms because I can see their numbers.
Little pooch kick here by Abraham Torres. Now the whistles are going to blow this one dead. And unfortunate, really, for Heritage that damn. Looked like they were going to get a return starting at about the 25-yard line. But this is going to go against
Have
the
you ever seen
Panthers.
them blowing it down like that? Blowing down and offsides? I thought they let it go, depending on let the procedure's one thing, but offsides I thought they let it go and called it after. Unless he lined up. Now, how could you line up offsides?
The Patriots actually were going to look like they were going to have a good chance to get that to the 40 or even beyond.
It looked like the 35.
So Torres is going to now kick it from the 35-yard line. And here's Torres on the approach, and this one is going to be a squib taken by one of the up end and covered at the 41-yard line. So the Heritage Patriots and their quarterback Nick Zell putting up some fine numbers, going to get their first look on offense. And of course Nick Zell, excellent numbers for him. And he's got a quartet of very fine receivers to go to.
Tony Zell has thrown for 1779, so coming in the game, he had more yardage than Najee.
And those touchdown to interception ratio, excellent.
23 to 5. I asked Coach Sanders when I met with him, is there any throw you won't let him make? He said no. He can throw everything.
Zell back, looks, fires over the middle. He's got a man complete, hit and banged down inside Antioch territory. And on the reception was one of the Mack twins. That's Tyrese Mack, number 3, the senior, who makes the grab. And that will be a first down for the Patriots. And the aforementioned Patriot wide receivers, Wisham, the Mack twins, and Trey Love. And that is a very fine and very potent group.
Well, when they line up twins to the right side, they really are lining up twins to the right side because both of the Mack brothers are twins.
Pressure by Antioch. Zell throwing for his life, and he's got a man, and the ball is dropped at about the 49-yard line of the Panthers. And Aiden Quinn, the running back, he's the feature back here for the team, couldn't hold on to that one. So it's Quinn, Wisham, Mack, twins, and Love, and then Moore, Dunce, Peterson, Jared Dexter, and Jordan Stanley across that front line for Heritage. Zell back, throws over the middle. He's got a man complete to Mack, and he is going to bounce off a couple of tacklers, and he's going to pick up a first down as he gets to about the 35-yard line.
And that's Tyreek that time.
And now the Antioch defense, Sir Forbes, Timmy Dorsey, and Elijah Avery on that front line. It's going to bring them up a little bit short as we take a look at the replay there.
That was a nice pass, too, with 3 defenders right in the area. That's one you throw a little tip pass, it's an interception.
Third down and 1 for the Patriots, operating in Antioch territory. Zell from the shotgun. Nick back under some pressure, wants to get rid of it and does, and just throws this one away. The pass intended for number 6, Hassan Williams. That'll bring up 4th down.
Who's the 5th receiver in that?
And Nate Jackson, Vinny Bellardo, Cameron Nathan, Omari Harris, and Abram Carnthong are the linebackers. And then Tanner Dunn and Freitas rounding out the secondary for the Antioch defense. So 4th down and 1. Heritage going to go for it here.
And Coach LUCIDO told me before the game they were going to bring pressure to try to stop Zell, and so far that pressure has affected a couple of his passes.
Zell going to get it, and on the keeper, he is going to surge forward, and looks like he has the first down as he picks up just about a yard. That's all he needed. First down, Heritage, 3 first downs on this drive for the Patriots, Dan, and a nice, at least thus far, a nice answer to that opening drive by Antioch.
I like I want to go back to the first play. I like the way they're running. They're running guys deep and throwing underneath the coverage, which I really like. That first play was really nice. But they have 5 quality receivers on this team, and we might see action from all of them tonight.
Again, that 4 wide receiver spread, 2 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Zell back, throws over the middle. This one juggled and incomplete. And Hassan Williams was the intended receiver, couldn't hold on. And on the coverage, Day Green was there, and with that ball kind of volleyballed in the air a little bit. Very fortunate for Heritage that ball was not intercepted.
And we apologize, folks. It's very difficult to get starters in when they run the next play 10 seconds after the play. Remember the good old days when they huddled and you could get it all in, and now they're already ready to go. It's no huddle for everybody now.
2nd down and 10 From the Antioch 34, low snap, Zell handles it. Under pressure, hit as he throws. This one is going to wobble and going to be incomplete as the rain starts to come down. That one intended for Tyrese Mack, but trying to see who made that hit.
It was Nathan.
Good pressure again.
It was Cameron Nathan, who is a force on the line. He's the Khalid Mack of the Antioch Panthers. He leads them in tackles and sacks. And he can play linebacker and he can play end, and he's a dang good one. I'm sure he'll have all-league mentions when that comes out in a few weeks.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Good look at Zell. Nick back, looking, under pressure again, hit as he throws, and this one is going to wobble over the head of Mack one more time and fall dead at the 20-yard line. And boy, a lot of black shirts around Mack that time, and again, lucky for Heritage, that ball wasn't picked off.
Well, you know, one reason why Coach LUCIDO is the head coach, they watch this stuff all day long, and they know exactly what they're going to do. And when you say we're going to bring pressure, they've brought pressure. And that was the little spark plug, Vinny Bayardo, who's in there causing havoc. We've seen him a number of times this year.
Don Sanders is the head coach of the Heritage Patriots in his 4th season.
4th down, Tony.
4th down, throwing. Deep down the field, into the corner, and kind of out of my sight line. And this one is going to be incomplete.
Hold on. I thought I saw a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the referees, the officials are getting together here a little bit to talk about something.
It's on Heritage. I like the fact that the back judge let that play go. Some guys will call that little contact as they're running. You know, when there's contact when you're running and you're looking back, you can't call that. No harm, no foul. So Antioch gets the ball back here, their 2nd possession, up 8-0. And, you know, a lot of people are asking, so what happens to Antioch now? Well, if Antioch wins tonight and Pittsburgh beats Freedom, next week's Big Little game will be for a 3-way tie for first. Granted, Freedom beats Liberty next week, which you'd have to think Freedom will be favored in that game.
By a little.
By a little bit. So the Antioch still has a chance to be involved in the league title. Realistically, as we mentioned, this is basically for a home game in the playoffs.
From the 35-yard line, Antioch, and this time nowhere to go. The tackle being made by Devon Lance, number 14, coming up to make that stop. And on the carry that time, I believe, was it Damone Dorsey, number 8?
For the first time.
First time we've seen him carry the football.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but who's playing quarterback right now?
And Najee Harris
Mr. Harris
taking the snaps right now. Najee going to get it, going to keep it, and trying to get through some defenders, but Heritage not having any of it that time. So Najee stopped after a minimal gain, and on the tackle, number 24, Ryan Sanchez, among others. Max Peterson, number 72, there as well.
And A.J. Owens, and that is, let's show a video how to stop Najee Harris.
4 guys.
It was. 4 guys, 1 low, 1 mid, 1 high, and another guy to clean it all up at the end.
And somebody throw a lasso around him, and then you'll get him. So Carnthong still not on the field right now. No, there he is. Abrams on the field now.
Well, they're in a
that's
passing situation, perhaps, Tony.
Traditional set for the Panthers. Carnthong throws far side's got a man caught. Cross midfield, across the 40, 35, 30, inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown Panthers! Isaac Freitas with the big pass play and touchdown. The Panthers finally throw the ball, and they get the big play and the touchdown to Freitas. Or was that Jameer Wilson? That was number 13, Jameer Wilson, excuse me. 7 touchdowns now receiving on the season for Jameer.
And that was spectacular, a little slant. And you know, those are the most dangerous plays to throw, but also the greatest reward. Because in high school, those quarterbacks have to be accurate on that slant. If they miss the slant, it's an interception or a deflection. That one was perfect, and then he did the rest all the way down the field, using a lot of the field to get in the end zone. So Antioch now looking at 14, now looking at 16, and with Najee Harris, it's just about automatic.
Automatic. That'll make it 16-0. Pardon me, I said Jameer Wilson had 6 touchdowns. Yes, he had 3. Now he's got 4. And actually going over.
Okay, so now watch. It's just one step back, quick little slant in, boom, and there's Wilson with the catch, and then the speed. And he outruns number 9 from Heritage. That's Quincy Cox. Cox caught finally. Ooh, nice little stiff arm there and dives into the end zone. Antioch up now 16-0, 4:36 to go. So Antioch rolling again after a couple of scares there. De La Salle Freedom knocked them down. They came back with 2 consecutive wins, qualified for the playoffs. Now they're looking to go 6-3 into the Big Little game next week against either 8-1 or 9-0 Pittsburgh. And of course, the Big Little game, you throw the records out, Tony, in that one.
This one's going to be taken at the 15, cross the field 20, cross the 25, nearing the 30, going to get down to 28-yard line, and that's where the Heritage Patriots will take over. 4:28 to go here, trailing the Panthers now 16-0.
And that was Aiden Quinn on the return, Tony. One area that Antioch has struggled in this year has been special teams, and we've seen a lot of long returns. We saw a ton in the Liberty game. One for a touchdown.
Yeah,
I think the one kid, Hawkins, he had 236 return yards, but so far tonight, that has not been a problem.
All right, the Patriots just short of their own 30-yard line. And running to the outside. And that looks like Tyrese Mack was the ball carrier that time. He's going to get a couple of yards, and that's all. Actually, it was Aiden Quinn, number 21.
And it was Isaac Freitas who went all the way across the field, spread it out, and made the tackle. So I don't know if Quinn has that kind of breakaway speed to get to the outside. They might have to start running between the tackles.
Quinn just 52 yards a game, but he's averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. Under some pressure is Zell and hit, and he will go down.
The usual suspects, Tony, Nathan and Forbes. And, Nick Zell, they're going to have to get him some protection because he might not last the end of this game. Well, he's been hit 4 or 5 times already, but we do have an injured Antioch player.
Well, that time, Dan, Aiden Quinn, the running back, looked like he was going to run a flare pattern coming here to the near side and stopped, and Cameron Nathan ran right inside him and then made the sack.
It looks like Sir Forbes is on the ground. He made the initial hit and then kind of bounced off, and Nathan cleaned up, the leading sack man for the Antioch Panthers. But now you got it. Now, as this game plays out, Tony, of course, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Pittsburgh and what Antioch can take out. So far, Antioch's done a couple of different things. They're really bringing the pressure, and then they threw a nice long pass. That was actually a 64-yard pass to Wilson. Go ahead, Tom.
Tailgater Sports Bar and Grill, proud sponsors of Panther Athletics, your home for great food, sports, and entertainment. That's Tailgaters in Antioch. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for helping us bring to you Panther football.
And let's hope this is not a serious injury to Forbes. He's a mainstay across that line for the Antioch Panthers. A big guy, you know him well by his hairdo. He's got that long hair sticking out of his helmet. He's a big, strong guy, and he's getting up, which is a good sign, walking off on his own, under his own power. That's a good sign right now.
Sir Forbes, a 6'3", 267-pound senior. And as you said, Dan, very nice to see him able to get off the field.
I can't imagine that someone out there isn't looking at him as a possible lineman at the next level. He's a beast. He's got a little bit of a mean streak, too, which you need to play that position in football.
Well, you certainly don't want somebody who's passive.
Yeah, no, not that position. Although I hear he's a teddy bear off the field, someone wanted me to mention.
Well, 3rd down at 14, following the sack by Cameron Nathan. So Zell in the shotgun, and Heritage really trying to get some offense here. They certainly don't want to see Antioch back with the football anytime soon. This one thrown out, and that's going to be way over the head of the intended receiver, and lucky it was, because lurking there was DeJuan Butler, number 21. If that ball had been thrown on a line, he was going to have himself a pick six.
Yeah, but you see a little bit about, first of all, it's starting to rain, Tony. Ball's got to be a little slicker coming out. You notice that Zell didn't wait around to get hammered that time. He threw it, and it was overthrown. So
I'm kind of wondering, Dan, when with the rush that Heritage takes a timeout, with the rush that Antioch is providing, when we're going to start seeing a few draw plays.
Well, what did I mention? Quinn, as I mentioned, I don't know if he has the blazing outside the tackle type speed. He looks like more of a between the tackle runner. That's what you're going to have to look at, because Antioch bringing the ends like they are, there could be some holes up there, but you game plan, and then you really don't know what the other team's going to do. You can only kind of guess. You can see the rain. It's coming down nicely here, but we're nice and covered up here, Tony. It's beautiful.
I'm not bothered by it at all.
Oh, it is.
Boy, it is
right
dumping now, and the fans are really starting to let us know about it.
Yeah.
Everybody headed for a higher ground.
I guess this is one of the perks we get here, because we don't get much else. We are covered.
We do get a buffet, kind of.
Well, that was a good burrito we had today.
Provided, of course, by tailgaters, thanks to the crew meal. As you can see, the rain falling extremely hard now, and all the people in front of us, the umbrellas have opened, the blankets are going over their head.
Well, one of the nice
blanket
things,
better
Tony,
be waterproof.
for those of you, and I went to school here, for those of you that don't know me, and back in the good old days, this would have been a mess in the old days, because we had the dirt track and we had grass and mud by now. We got a flag on the play, Tony, before this punt.
And this one is going to fall at about the 45, take a roll, and then an exit stage right. And that is going to die at about the 48-yard line of the Patriots. So good field position here to start this next drive for the Panthers. And they are up right now 16-0, still 3:18 to go in the opening quarter.
And this is what I love about John LUCIDO, too. And I knew he would decline this, because he's going, just put my offense on the field. That's all I want. I don't care where they start. We're going to end up scoring.
Doesn't seem to matter that much.
That's his why risk a wet punt in this kind of condition? Just give me you put my offense out there, we'll do fine.
So the Panthers now from the Patriot 48, leading by a pair of touchdowns, as their offense has not been challenged much by Heritage, at least thus far. And they're going to go, and it looks like Day Green is going to get it, and he's going to get inside the 45-yard line.
And now, if you saw that, Tony, but Devin Lance slipped out of the tackle that time.
This one's going to get all the way down to the 43-yard line. Or at the 42, so a nice gain by Green. Close to about 7 yards on that carry. I'll leave it at second down and 3. A couple of wide receivers split to the far side. Green again, that lone setback. This time they're going to hand it off, go right up inside, and that's going to be a first down all the way to the 31-yard line. Omari Harris, the ball carrier that time, and it would be a jet sweep if he was coming more from the outside, but really he's coming from that H-back position.
Kind of like a skinny reverse. You see, you just make things up now. Skinny is a good word, a skinny post, a skinny slant, a skinny reverse. You just throw stuff out there. Everyone has their own terminology.
We've seen that play, Dan, and they've run it extremely effectively with a number of different players. Karnthog in that short set. And then they're going to go to the other side this time, inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 10, inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. Antoine Tanner with the big carry. And now Panthers set up yet here again for touchdown number 3.
And Tony, we're giving a lot of credit to the runners, but let's give some credit to the line.
Boy, let's.
Fatu, Avery, Sahota, Sandoval, and Robinson, they're opening up some big holes. But Tanner, Dorsey, Green, Harris, Carthong, they've all ran the ball. And we're in the first quarter. 2 minutes to go.
Boy, and Tanner lined up as a tight end that time, and now into the end zone for the touchdown. Omari Harris for the touchdown for the Panthers, and just like that, it's a 3-touchdown game with just 2:06 still to go here in the first quarter. And for the Heritage Patriots, Dan, this is not looking good.
The only thing after you look at this replay, another little reverse kind of handoff there. Like you said, not coming from the full, it's more like a counter coming back against the blocking. And now Antioch goes for 2 again, which is no shock.
Direct snap, and now Harris is going to give it to Harris, and they're not going to get in. So that was that Wildcat formation again, with Najee giving to Omari, but Omari stopped short of the goal line that time, and that will leave Antioch with a 22-0 lead, and so far a dominant first quarter for the Antioch Panthers.
You know, Tony, but you know, we have seen them when they get up to these leads sometimes. That's when the other team, and generally it takes a big play. We saw that last year in the Freedom game. We saw that earlier in the game against Lincoln of Stockton, and even in the Liberty game. They tend to kind of ease up right here, and the other team, especially if they can throw. Now, I don't know how easy it's going to be to throw in this weather, but they've definitely stopped the throw, and they've definitely limited Zell's opportunities.
And here's another short pooch kick. taking about the 25 and to the 30, cross the 30 to about the 32. And that's where Heritage will start this next drive, desperately needing the score, down by 22 with 2:02 to go. Hassan Williams on that return.
Now, you're not in a panic situation necessarily, but you really need something positive to have happen on this drive for Heritage. Heritage is, like we said, imagine you're 6-0, but you are looking ahead to your schedule that says Freedom, Pittsburgh, and Antioch, 3 straight games. You knew there was it's going to take nearly perfect games to win, and they haven't played them so far.
Zell from the shotgun. Going to hand off. I think that's Quinn, number 21 it is, out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. So about 4 yards on first down. It'll bring up second down and 6. There you see the clock ticking down to 1:47 and counting.
That time they ran up the middle, Tony, so maybe they're seeing something too. They've been able to spread out the run against Antioch's interior line.
Well, they certainly have to do something, Dan, to slow down that pass rush, because right now, as you said, if it continues, Nick Zell is not going to finish this ball game. From the shotgun, 5 men coming, and they're going to run the ball up the middle again. And there's going to be a flag coming in late on the play. And the ball carrier, number 20, A.J. Owens. And this one is going to go against the Antioch Panthers.
Blow to the head in that dog pile. So that's not good. And Antioch does not, they've been pretty penalty-free so far, but that has been Antioch. One of their drawbacks to their play this year has been the penalty situation. They imploded against Freedom in the fourth quarter with a bunch of personal fouls, and you don't want to see that happen, especially coming into the game next week, where we know the tension in the Big Little game is ratcheted up 100% no matter what the records are. Add in a championship perhaps on the line and forget it.
So after that personal foul penalty, the Patriots going to move ahead here down to the Antioch 46-yard line, first down and 10. A lot of guys you see there bunched up near that line of scrimmage. Zell with Quinn flanked to his left. Zell to throw over the middle. He's got a man, and he overthrows the intended receiver. And that looked like there was Hassan Williams, who was wide open on that go route. And boy, it looked like Zell just let it go a little too early that time.
And like we're saying, is he already a little gun shy, but for the hits? I mean, that would be natural for anyone who's been hit 4 or 5 times already to get rid of the ball a little early, but his quality of play so far would indicate to us that he can make those passes.
4 wide receiver spread. Second down, Zell going to get it. He's going to hand off. They're going to run wide to the right to the far side. Cuts it back inside is A.J. Owens. He's got a couple of yards, close to 4 again on that first down play. So at least a positive gain there on first down. I certainly would take those short runs on first down rather than just getting your quarterback hit.
Freitas got hit low on that play, and he's in pain and down on the Antioch, on the field on the Antioch side here. So we're going to have another timeout. That's the second guy. Now Forbes is back in the game, so that injury didn't bother him, but this one will. Tony, while we have an opportunity, let's congratulate both coaching staffs tonight. John LUCIDO, of course, has been had a great run here with Najee Harris, and next year it's going to be a whole different scenario. We're going to have to, the post-Najee years will be here.
It's going to be the post-Najee, but Day-Day Green's not exactly a bad running back, and one thing that we've seen from Antioch, Dan, is there's a lot of talent all around. Now this year there has been a bit of drop-off defensively for Antioch, but the talent level really is there.
Well, look, Daylon Green will be the feature back probably next year. Tahati Harris will be back next year. Avery, Hurd, Omari Harris, they're all juniors. So you're going to have some good players back next year. On his sideline, Brett Dudley is the offensive coordinator. Wilson PICA, who played at Concord High School. Chris Henry, Mike WISECARVER, Josh BULLA, Ron Carter, who was a quarterback at Pittsburgh, interestingly enough, folks. Scott Adams, Willie STEMBRIDGE, and MORI SUESUE. Our good friend Louie Rocha is the principal over here, and Steve Sanchez is the athletic director for the Antioch Panthers. 5-3, 2-1 in the BVAL. Beat Deer Valley last week, 44-19. And next week, right here, Tony, to remind our viewers, we'll be on next Saturday, 1:30, the Big Little game, the 98th Big Little game,
Isn't that amazing?
Well,
I mean, literally playing
so I don't know if it's true or not, but
literally playing those since leather helmets. And that's not a joke.
I don't even know if they had helmets when they first started playing. They actually just used to play down the old Highway 4. They just played right on the highway.
As if there was a highway.
There was a highway 4. It was a street between Hazels and the high school.
Yeah, maybe for horse and buggy.
Yeah.
3rd down and 6. Could be the last play of this first quarter. Man in motion coming to the near side. Here's Zell. He's got time. Throws to the near side. He's got a man complete and out of bounds inside the 30 at about the 27-yard line. And that is going to be Tariq Mack, number 5, with the reception. And boy, that time Zell got a little bit of time from his offensive line, and he was able to fire the deep out pattern and get the first down.
Well, you can't go for the home run every time either, Tony. Take what they give you. The defense is giving you a 15-yard pass. Take it. This is a guy that's caught a ton of passes this year. He's got 511 yards, 6 touchdowns, but you don't have to hit a home run every single time.
Here's Zell, quick throw. He's got Mack again, who gives up yardage, going to the outside, and he's going to get inside the 20 near the first down marker, so about 9 more yards on that play, and he is out of bounds, and that will do it for the first quarter. And at the end of one, a 22-0 lead for Antioch.
As it is the end of the first quarter with the Panthers up 22-0. I talked to Coach Don Saunders of Heritage High School, and he said the real key to slow down this Panther attack, rushing attack, is to man the box and try to stack it and corral Najee Harris. So far, it's been somewhat successful against Harris, but the rest of the Panthers have been running on Heritage. And back to the second quarter action with you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you, Mike Cronenwett. And I understand that some of the Alabama coaches, not Nick Saban apparently, but some of the Alabama coaches are in attendance tonight. Some of their recruiting personnel, and of course Najee always attracting a crowd. It's just kind of funny, Dan, when we have the Michigan guys here one day. Now we've got the Alabama guys, and everyone's trying to undercut to get him.
To go put him in a cage somewhere so he can't escape off to another school. They watch him every weekend and give him some food. No, Najee, you're not going anywhere else.
Kind of like those old AFL days when they used to babysit those draft picks.
Do you get a penalty if you do that? Wow!
Touchdown, Heritage! And Tyrese Mack making the reception for the score.
Occasionally I get it right, Tony. And what did I tell you? 22-0. They go right down the field. So anyway, what I was saying about Najee is I wonder what it's like on every day of your life to have to probably fight off some 20 or 30 guys calling you. I think he was on the phone before the game over by the gym, and I could see him kind of shaking his head like, no, I'm not going to Central Michigan Tech.
He's an extremely popular young man.
He is. He's a very nice guy, too, and people love him here.
So they are going to kick for this one. Kaylee Gross, and they're going to fake it, and Quinn's going to try to make the pile-on, dives for it. Did he make it? No signal yet. They're going to say no, and the PAT, or the two-point conversion, I should say, no good here as they lined up to kick it, and then Quinn took off. I'm not sure if it was a bad snap or not.
It almost looked like he did it
intentionally.
Right from the intentionally, and Antoine Tanner made a great play to come all the way out and force him out at the 1-yard line, and the Heritage coaching staff wants to know why that wasn't a good two-point conversion. They must have saw a foot or knee down before.
Oh, we're going to take another look at it here. Well, here's the touchdown. Zell with time, and he's got Mack over the middle. Zips in the ball right now in a fairly tight window.
That's what I was just going to say. Did you notice that, Tony? 2 receivers and 5 defenders in the same spot, and he put that right in the numbers.
And when you have 2 receivers that close, somebody ran the wrong route, but all's well that ends well for the Patriots. They get on the board here, 22-6 now, 11:54 to go here in the second quarter. But good news for the Patriots. Now here's the bad news. The Panthers get the ball back.
And exactly what Heritage needed to do. They took what they were given. They drove down the field, and they put some points on the board. As I mentioned, 22-0, yeah, that's a bad start, but there's still a lot of time to play in this game, almost 3 quarters.
And they've got to prove that they can stop this Antioch offense. Day Green has dropped back deep, and he will receive the kickoff here from Kaylee Gross. Kaylee, that pooch kick. This one is going to hop inside the 40, and that ball is finally recovered by Antioch. It looked like it was touched by a Panther. Of course, after 10 yards, it's a live ball anyway. And this one down at the 35-yard line, but boy, that was almost a little bit scary for Antioch as that ball was a live football, of course, after going the 10 yards.
Well, you can figure the ball's going to have a little slicker bounce nowadays. So far with the rain. Now, it looks like the rain has stopped, but the field's a little slick, and this surface can get slick. It's not like grass, which is where you get that mud kind of packed down. This is a slick surface sometimes when it's not raining.
And that might not be a bad strategy for the Patriots, Dan. Like you said, field position doesn't really matter a whole lot. Maybe if you're Heritage, you want more type onside kick type of things to see if you can get some more possessions. Carnthong back, throws, he's got a man outside the 40-yard line, across the 45 and close to midfield. And that's going to be about 13 or 14 yards on the play. That will be a first down. And that is Jameer Wilson, number 13, who's able to make the catch. Jameer, the 5'10", 165-pound senior, makes the catch for the first down. And the Panthers move the chains again. And right now showing that they can pass the ball and they can run the ball at will against this Heritage defense.
And that's where Carthong is very effective, is throwing underneath the coverage. You start getting into a running gun, I'd have to throw the ball deep, he can run into some trouble, but he's very good at those passes.
Najee, take a look at Harris, getting some instructions from his quarterback. Man in motion coming to the near side is Wilson, and now do they take too much time?
Yep.
It's going to be a dead ball foul. It should be delay of game against Antioch. It should back them up 5 yards, and it will. So the Heritage Patriots answering those first 3 touchdowns by Antioch with a touchdown of their own, now trying to get their first stop defensively. They're going to swing it out to Najee. He's got a whole bunch of white shirts there. Najee going backwards, spins away from a couple, but he is going to lose a couple of yards on this play. Another good defensive stand there by the Heritage Patriots. And on a 1st and 15, it's going to be second and even longer than that.
They did a great job that time of keeping him from getting that head of steam he needs. Hard to tackle once he gets past the line of scrimmage, but that time there was nowhere to go, and then there was a whole host of is it a host or a pack of Patriots? Host of Patriots? Tom Brady group of Patriots.
Able to cut off that the outside, force it back to the inside where he had help. Right up the middle he goes. And Najee's going to have good yardage this time as he gets out across midfield. But that was a 2nd down and 16 play. So this is going to bring up 3rd down. It's still a ways to go here, but now a much more manageable situation. About 8 yards, 7 yards to go here on this 3rd down play.
That was 9, so now 3rd and 7. So that.
And in motion coming to the near side. Harris going to get it, and Harris is going to be stopped short of the 1st down. Now with a 2-touchdown lead on the side of the field of the Patriots, they got to think they're going for it anyway.
It's their, and this is where you have to make those decisions. And will you make the same decision next weekend? When you're playing a team that's very, very good offensively, whereas Heritage has come out a little flat, but still only down by 2 scores, roughly, and a couple of 2-point conversions. But it looks like they're going for it, which is their MO.
4th down and 5. Couple of receivers split here to the near side. Going to fake it to Najee. Carnthong throwing over the middle. He's got a man. It's caught. And this one's going to be inside the 20. A big play for Antioch and a 1st down. Sion Vaki, number 34, able to make that catch. And Dan, he was wide open, and lucky that wasn't a touchdown.
I hope we have a replay of this, but he was open early. Now watch him come off the side here and break towards the middle of the field and then off a little slant towards the sideline. He was wide open, and a beautiful throw by Carthong that time in front of the safety.
Well, Matthew Schmidt, now pardon me, Mike Greco, very fortunate that he was there. That would have been a touchdown, but the Panthers turned 4th down into 1st down with the big pass play. And now we have flags stopping this next play.
Usually this means the offense did something wrong because the defense can pretty much do whatever it wants. The only thing you could have on the defense here is illegal participation, because they would have had a guy going seats on Antioch. But I'm just saying that's the only thing you can really
12
call.
men on the field.
That's illegal participation.
Illegal participation.
Well, that's what they call it.
They do call
I've been watching my games. because a defense can set up in any formation at once. Of course, the offense is limited to numerous, how many guys on line of scrimmage,
7.
who's covered, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah,
et cetera.
you got to cover the guy up at the line of scrimmage, but I still don't know why that's an advantage to have that. I can't tell you why exactly that's a penalty.
Someone was mad at a tight end that day.
Football just likes a lot of rules. Harris going to get it. Right up the middle he goes. Big hole for Najee. Spins away from a tackler. Can't get away from the second one, but he's got good yardage anyway. About 7 or 8 yards on that play. And it'll bring up second down in about 3.
And you know the amazing thing about him is at that time he had the head of steam. He got out. He bounced off a guy. But like right here, I just want to show you, Tony. I give him all the props in the world, not only for his talent, but his ability to take. Now watch this. There's one guy. There's 2 guys. There's 3 and 4 guys. And the fact that I would be done after that tackle, end of the story.
Handoff, Harris cuts it back up the middle, and he's going to get inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. And that'll be a first down and goal situation here for Antioch. And we're seeing some of these plays, Dan, when they are taking the offside guard and the offside tackle and pulling them to the other side. And when they do that, Najee can just kind of go up there and then wait for that to set up and then kind of pick where he wants to go following those blockers. Tarnthong directing traffic. Willem, and there's that play again. Jameer Wilson, touchdown, Antioch.
You know, they don't run a tremendous amount of plays, Tony. It's Najee left, right. It's an occasional sweep, and it's that little reverse play, and they are very good at what they do. And their line needs to get more credit because we don't often give their line as much credit as is due. But those holes are opened up for a reason. Now watch this right here. Look at the pulling by the 2 guys, and look at the other Carthong. You know, I got to mention him. Abram Carthong might have been disappointed, other than the fact that my brother is the starting quarterback, but he was a quarterback too. But he's made himself very useful for Antioch at other positions this year.
There was the Antioch brain trust on the sideline, going for 2 as always. Najee trying to spin through some tacklers, not this time, and he's going to be stopped. And the 2-point conversion fails, but the Antioch Panthers in the end zone for the 4th time in the half. It's 28-6, 7:48 to go here in this first half.
And that is
trying to get you a score.
Let's check
the Pitt Freedom
with
game.
Pittsburgh. Let's see if we don't think we have an update yet, Tony, but we're going to check it. You would think they'd have a guy at this one, right? It's only the biggest game in the Bay Area tonight, other than maybe Monte Vista de La Salle.
And talk about some good ball games going on right now. And not to mention the World Series going on right now as well.
Here. We got too many Cub fans that don't want to know what's going on. No, amazingly, Tony, I'm not getting an update on that, so I'll have to wait till halftime.
And this one up in the air. And taken near the 20-yard line by the Patriots, and just about the 22-yard line, so a very short return. And coming up to make that tackle, looked like it was number 4.
Abram
Carthong, you just said, was making himself useful.
On special teams. Tony, to review the scoring, Harris, 6-yard run, PAT good, 8-0 Antioch, 16-0 after Wilson, 64-yard pass from Carthong, PAT good, 16-0, 22-0. Harris, the other Harris, not Omari Harris, not Najee, he scored. No good on the PAT. Liberty scored on a Mac pass from Zell, and then we just had a 3-yard run, and it's 28-6.
Antioch crowding the line, showing blitz from both sides. Now they back off that a little bit. Here's what Trump throw it, and nearly intercepted by the Panthers. That was almost disastrous for Heritage. Redwood Painting Company, protective coating systems for commercial, industrial, and residential clients for more than 60 years. Thanks to Redwood Painting Company for sponsoring Panther football. Zell, second down and 10 now, as they operate just outside their own 20-yard line. Quinn going to get it, but not get very far, as he's buried under a host of black shirts. And it looked like the first one to get there was number 59, Elijah Avery, the 5'9", 215-pound senior, and he got a lot of help from his friends.
Timmy Dorsey was there as well, so it's going to bring up another 3rd and about 10.
There you see
Zeldin.
Zeldin
Heritage trying to keep this going, yeah.
looking at that wristband, the cheat sheet. Yeah, this is a very important third down here for Heritage. Certainly don't want to give Antioch the ball back, particularly in good field position. Now, it looked like somebody jumped into the neutral zone for the Panthers. Let's see what they're going to call this on as the offensive line got out of their stances, but I think it was Antioch in the neutral zone first. It was
Dorsey in the middle of the field.
And that is number 74, Timmy Dorsey.
And I don't even think that was a cadence call. I think that was just anticipation and youthfulness that caused that penalty.
So this will set up a third down and 5, make it a little easier for Heritage. Here's Zell, back, throws over the middle, and somehow this ball gets through and is caught. And that is going to be a first down. Hassan Williams, and right there defensively, Dan, was Isaiah Avery, and I was really surprised that Avery wasn't able to reach out and knock that ball down. He had fantastic coverage on that play, but could not prevent the completion, and that will be a first down. Very important for Heritage to keep this drive alive. Still 6:25 and counting to go here in this first half.
Second quarter score from Pittsburgh, Tony. Yeah, Pittsburgh 14, Freedom 14.
Oh, what a game. There's Antioch showing blitz. They come with it. Quinn's going to get it, and he's going to be hammered backwards after he picks up just about 2 yards. So Quinn, not very much yardage, and he really paid for the yards he got.
It looks like if Heritage is to get back in this game, it's through the air. They have at least stopped Antioch's pass rush that was so ferocious in the first quarter. They've kind of limited here in the second quarter and been able to complete some passes, but that's how they're going to have to get back in this game.
Just 2 yards on that play from the 41. Zell's going to keep it, spins by a tackler, and he's going to pick up a few yards. It's going to leave him well short of the first down. Give him about 3 yards on that carry, and it's still going to bring up a third down and 6 upcoming here for the Patriots. And now Nick looking over toward the sideline to get some further instructions.
Everyone else is reading too. That was a nice little read option that time, and they run that from occasion, but you don't want to get him hurt. He's your bread and butter.
Third down and 6. They've got to get to midfield. Throws for the sidelines. Got a man. That's going to be caught. First down yardage and inside the 40-yard line of the Panthers, down to about the 39-yard line. And it looked like it was number 5, Tariq Mack, on the reception. Dan is telling me it's Hassan Williams. Let's take a look. Nice throw. Good protection. Catch is made.
Yeah, that was Hassan again.
It was Hassan, number 6.
And if you're going to play your cornerbacks 20 yards deep, that play's open all night long, Tony. And that's what happened on that one.
Another good pitch and catch here by Heritage to keep this drive alive. Zell over the middle, and this one is going to be juggled and incomplete. The official takes a tumble that time. Gets up in good spirits, thank goodness.
You know what I like? The player from Antioch and Heritage went and helped him up. See, these guys are not your enemies, folks. I'm here to tell you. They might make a mistake every once in a while, but they're not trying to. I know a lot of these guys from my referee basketball, and a lot of them do both. So we're gonna stay off the refs tonight, Tony. How's that?
I'm all for it. Until they make a call I don't like. Second down and 10. Quinn's going to get it. And just a couple of yards for Aiden Quinn. Getting up off the tackle right there is number 56, and that's Josiah Simmons, the 5'10", 213-pound junior there to make the stop. And this is going to leave a third down and long here for Heritage. So you wonder with Heritage, would they punt from this situation? So this very well could be 2-down territory for them. So not necessarily, Dan, do they need all 9 yards here on this play. Antioch up on that line of scrimmage. They're coming with the blitz. There's a throw. That ball's going to be knocked away and incomplete. And it looked like that was number 28, Omari Harris, who got that. A little upset with himself that he was not able to hold on for the interception.
Well, you know, we have called a lot of names tonight, Tony. There was a few games last year when it was pretty much Najee left, right, and center. But this team, I think this team has been forced to become better. You know what I mean? Over the year, they do not have the supporting cast they had last year. And you start to see now in game number 9 that some of these guys are starting to really improve and looking like they can make a difference later in the season and even next year if they're coming back.
4th down and 9. They need to get to the 29-yard line of the Panthers. Zell running up, fires deep down the field. Some contact there, and that ball going to be incomplete. It looked like receiver and cornerback, and that looked like number 3, Tyrese Mack, who was involved. He was the intended receiver down there. It looked like he turned and was coming back to the football, and it went over his head.
I think on that one, Zell was throwing to one spot, and Mack was thinking, I'm going to go to another. And maybe that's where he should have been, you know, in that 4-wide offense. Each receiver has a responsibility, and the quarterback has to go through his reads and find the best option. That time on that roll, he thought maybe Mack was just going to fly into the end zone, and that's where he threw it. But Mack cut back, and Antioch gets the ball back with 3:51 to go second quarter, ahead by 22.
Well, let's see if Heritage can get him stopped here, as Heritage cannot convert on 4th down. This one's going to be thrown over the middle, and that one's going to be in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Gaudy Campbell, number 11, the sophomore, had to go down to the ground. The ball was a little bit behind him that time. Couldn't quite hold on, but he was open.
And another new name, another underclassman. They haven't really overworked Harris in this game. He's had his runs, but it's not one of those games where he's going to have 490 yards.
Going to get it this time right up the middle. He goes, breaks a tackle, skips away from a defender. He's going to get inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Huge play for Antioch there on a 1st down.
Hole up the middle, he gets going. And, you know, they have the rack yardage, run after catch. I wonder what his yardage is with guys hanging on my back. Because it's got to be significant. Because how many times have we seen that this year? You ask every coach, how do I get him? Now watch here. Good block. They pull again. That's a collapse. Beautiful right up the middle. Makes his move. That's another thing he's good at. Elusive. Now 1, 2. Here comes number 3 and 4.
23 yards on a 1st down on that one. Harris up the middle again, and Najee is going to have nearly 1st down yardage. He might have it as he gets inside the 30. I think they're going to mark him just a bit short, so about 9, a little better than 9 on that carry, and it'll bring up 2nd down and short here for Antioch as we tick under 3:05 to go here in this 1st half.
That was almost the same play and same result.
Antioch in business again. Short yardage, they're going to go around with Tanner, and Tanner is going to get away, and he escapes to get inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line, another 1st down.
And if we have a replay of this, Tony, you'll see the Patriot line just kind of freeze on the play action. They thought Najee was going to get the ball, and before they knew it, Tanner was running around the right side with another a couple of blocks and his speed. He's another guy that can make things happen on that reverse.
Well, they make it really happen, Dan, when they go that end-around play. No matter how they run it, either they go with somebody that's a split end or they go somebody from the tight end spot, it always seems to work. Here's some Najee trying the right side, tripped up, but he gets down to about near the 10 yards, about the 11-yard line. So another nice gain. That'll bring up 2nd down here for the Panthers as they move right down the field yet again, Dan. Really threatening to turn this game into a blowout if Heritage does not get a stop here.
And Nick Filardo was carrying Najee that time, but he actually made the tackle by kind of pulling him down by the jersey.
On 2nd down for Antioch. Going to give it to Najee right up the middle, and Harris inside the 5 down to the 4. That'll bring up a 1st and goal situation. He picks up 8 yards, and another goal-to-goal situation here for the Panthers.
And I wonder how you do the stats with a guy like Harris. You know, normally you get credit for a tackle or a partial tackle. How do you do like 1/6 of a tackle? 6 guys, 7 guys making the tackle. Because that's what it seems like you need to really stop him.
Carnthong, Harris, and he takes on one tackler, but just practically walks into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Panthers on the board again, now lead it 34-6 with 1:25 to go. And this one right now, folks, has officially turned into a blowout.
And you know, one thing I want to tell Najee as we do his second to last game is don't ever change. Always be the guy you are. Did you see him run in the end zone? And he just turned around and walked back to the huddle. No writing on the football, no sending messages or doing dances. Just simple,
or
that's my
answering
job,
his phone.
I did it. Yep.
Boy, this ball is lost. Harris picks it up, looking to throw it, tosses it into the end zone. And it is caught for the 2-point conversion.
And now 37 coaches want him as a quarterback in the NCAA.
Kobe Williams, number 32, makes the catch. Najee to the rescue. That ball was lost. He picked it up in traffic.
Here's the touchdown, so he just kind of waltzes
Easy
in.
cut back there.
Yep. And just watch, just nothing. Gives the ball to the ref. Doesn't slam it down in front of the defender. Go ahead, Tony.
Bothman Construction, understanding your goals, exceeding your expectations, building your world, realizing your vision. Bothman Construction, another proud sponsor of Panther football. Well, here are the Panthers to kick it off. So just 1:25 to go here for the visiting Heritage Patriots. And this one's going to be taken and lost and then recovered by Heritage inside the 25 at about the 24-yard line. And they're fortunate to jump on that one. They do have a little bit of time here, Dan, and obviously the situation they are in, trailing 36-6, nothing they can do but to try to go for it here and get some points on the board. Still got a couple of timeouts as well.
Well, they've had success, Tony, doing a couple of things. Sideline has worked a few times, and also backing the defense off and then throwing underneath. But as you mentioned, they have a couple timeouts and a long way to go.
Down by 30. Zell going to fake the handoff. He wants to run it himself, and that ball was nearly pulled away from him. And on the tackle that time is number 59, Elijah Avery, who really wasn't going for the tackle as much as he was trying to take away the football.
And that's a good strategy down here. If they're going to run, which is kind of unusual, you'd think they would be in a pure passing situation right now, but maybe they're just going to take this into halftime and not risk the turnover.
Under a minute to go, and this one is going to be thrown, and that one is going to be incomplete. And out over near the 40-yard line. Looking for, that was Hassan Williams over the middle. Zell was trying to get it to him. They could not make the connection, but Isaiah Avery, number 24 there, defensively for the Panthers.
And if you can't stop him from touching the ball, just make sure he doesn't come down with it. And that was a great play that time. Antioch's coverage has been fairly decent, except for a few times when they've really let the sidelines be open.
Clock stops here with 44.8 to go. Zell, and he's going to take off running up the middle, and Zell going to slide down just short of 40 as he gets to the 39-yard line. He will have a first down. The chains will move now, and that will stop the clock momentarily. And quickly, Patriots back to the line trying to get everybody set. And here's Zell barking out the signals here, directing traffic for Heritage. Nick again. Gets some time, fires here for the near side, and this ball nearly caught, and then a flag comes in at the end of the play. And let's see if they get one of the Panthers for an early bump or pass interference.
I think you might get a penalty on Dunn on that one.
Pass interference the call, and that will go against the Panthers. So not a spot of the foul call as it would be in the NFL, but 15 yards from the previous line of scrimmage. Clock stops the clock with 22 seconds and lines the Patriots up at the 45-yard line. And boy, wouldn't they love to get a score here before the end of the half. Zell back, under pressure, throws over the middle, this one incomplete. Looked like he was looking for Hassan Williams over there, number 6 again, but boy, the pocket was collapsing immediately, and Zell just had to get rid of the football.
Yeah, that time he didn't have the time, and Antioch, as we mentioned early in the game, was bringing a severe rush. And Zell got hit a number of times. They haven't really been able to do that recently. Maybe they pulled it off with a 30-point lead, not to be so quick to blitz or show some things we might want to show next week against Pittsburgh.
Second down and 10. Zell back, throws, and this one is going to be incomplete, and that is going to be another penalty. And that was Antoine Tanner there defensively for the Panthers, making contact with the intended receiver. It looked like he just rode him out of bounds.
Looks like somebody had 12 in the pool, because they look like they want to give him another touchdown with some of the defensive play.
HKIT is excited to continue the renovation work for Antioch High School. Currently, they transformed the 1100 Hall into a media tech center, updating classrooms and building a new cafeteria with a beautiful quad area, and they certainly have done that. This school and the facilities here really have been absolutely transformed. That's HKIT Architects.
And Tony, as a former student here, I can testify before they started rebuilding this school, it was exactly the same as I went here. I still found some of my gum under a chair once. I was in here visiting.
10 seconds to go, maybe 2 plays here. Zell fires for the sideline. That one is going to be complete. And that looks like it's number 5. That is Mack making the catch there. And he calls timeout, and then no time showing. Are they going to give him one more play? Let's see.
Well, he started signaling for that timeout when there was 2 seconds left on the clock. And I can't imagine why he caught it with about 6 seconds left on the clock, so I can't imagine that they did not.
I mean, usually a play, Dan, you can certainly get, with 10 seconds in a situation like that, you can certainly get 2 plays.
I got to figure that there's, but everyone's, oh no, Antioch looks like they're sticking around. Yeah, they're spotting the ball at the 24-yard line.
Now, if they're spotting the ball, that means they're going to give them one more play. So they're going to put just a second back on the clock here. So this will be the last play of the first half. Last play of the first half. Patriots want to go for the end zone. Zell back. There's the horn. There's the throw, and this one way out of bounds. In and out of the back of the end zone, and that's the way the first half ends. A 36-6 lead for the home team Panthers over the Patriots. And let's go down to the field now to Mike Cronenwett. Actually, we'll stay right here, and that'll take care of the first half. And really, Dan, things not going the way the Patriots certainly had hoped, and after their 6-0 start. And now, actually, let's go down to the field for Mike Cronenwett.
All right, I'm here with Antioch principal Louie Rocha as the Panthers are well ahead of Heritage right now, 36-8. And Louie, so tell me, we have the big little game coming up next week, and right now Pittsburgh is ahead 21-14 over Freedom as the last score update. But tell me a little bit about this upcoming and big-time rivalry going on between Pittsburgh and Antioch.
Well, it's referred to as the big little game because, you know, the Cal-Stanford game is the big game. And the game goes all the way back to the 20s. And I believe we're at 78 or 79 game in the series. And I graduated in the 70s, and the game was a huge game then. It's still a huge game today. And, you know, a lot of the students growing up when they were young, going to the high school games, looking forward to the day that they could play in that traditional rivalry. And so these young student athletes that play here at Antioch and at Pittsburgh, they look forward to this game every year. It's always the last game of the season. And it was nice to go back to Saturdays. It was moved to Friday nights, but we decided to go back to Saturdays and have it be the classic game that it deserves. Last year it was a full house at Pittsburgh, probably estimated about 6,000 people, and the game was just a classic, the way that many of the games have been through the history. And this year it's at our place. It's going to be a large crowd and a highly competitive game, I expect. And it's great for both communities. It brings us together, and many of the Pittsburgh fans, Antioch fans have graduated from both high schools, and their families have moved and they've raised their children. But it's a classic game that goes back a long time, and it's always a rivalry that brings a lot of suspense and excitement.
And this year actually has a unique twist, as if Pittsburgh defeats Freedom and Antioch holds on tonight, Antioch actually has a shot at having a three-way tie for the league title. Now, has that, under your knowledge and under your time here with the program, has that ever happened where there's been a three-way tie in any sport?
I believe it happened in the 80s. I don't know specifically what year, but I believe it did happen in the 80s where there was a three-way tie. I don't recall what the tiebreaker was, but we weren't the tiebreaker winner. But the way I look at it is we're the defending champions until someone takes it away, and we're going to play on our home field next week, and it's going to be up to us to hold court. And then, of course, whatever happens, the North Coast section, everybody starts all over again at 0-0, and I think this team has gotten better as the year's gone on, and it's going to be an exciting game. And if Pittsburgh wins tonight at home, and they're winning right now, it will set up for a really interesting contest because, as you stated, if we defend and beat Pittsburgh and keep the trophy like we did from last year, it will go to a three-way tie, and I'm not sure what the tiebreaker will be. But I think both teams are going to end up in the playoffs, and I think Pittsburgh is always a powerful team, and we have a lot of respect for Pittsburgh over the years, and I believe they have a lot of respect for us as well.
Definitely so, and again, folks, you can catch that game next week, Saturday, and that is a 1 o'clock kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. 1:30 kickoff on CCTV, and that will do it for our halftime show, and you'll see live action next with the third quarter. Stay tuned.
Antioch High School 36-6, and here's how the first half went down.
Antioch, 318 yards total offense. Antioch had 318 yards of total offense to 144 for Heritage. 219 yards on the ground for the Panthers, 99 through the air. Heritage just 38 yards of rushing yards. They have passed for 106. Najee, 18 carries, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carthon, 3 of 4 for 99 yards. He's having a good game tonight. Wilson's been the leading receiver for the Panthers. Quinn, 7 rushes for 20 yards. Zell, 12 of the 28 for 106 and a touchdown. And Mack, 10 catches already for 92 yards and a touchdown. That's the stats. And quick score for you at halftime. Pittsburgh, 21. Freedom, 14.
Halftime is brought to you by Tailgaters, open 7 days a week, showing all sports and serving homemade food. Come in for our NFL breakfast, 9 a.m. on Sundays. And I'll tell you, go in there and split that with somebody because the portions that they're giving you are just amazing. Tailgater Sports Bar in Antioch.
NBA action. New Orleans 74, Warriors 73.
Here come the Panthers breaking through the banner. They're starting to announce some scores here, so if all of our Cub fans want to go and watch that World Series Game 3 on your DVR, plug your ears. I think you're going to get a score here momentarily.
Yeah, we just announced the Warriors score, but the Warriors are on an 8-0 run now, up 81-74 in the third quarter.
Right here in Antioch. 30
Yep.
minutes after the conclusion.
Indians are up in the ninth, and of course we announced, and Pittsburgh and Freedom are at halftime right now, so kind of mirroring this game. One thing I wanted to correct, Tony, earlier in the game I said that Monte Vista and De La Salle play tonight. They actually play next week, which is really strange, because the Monte Vista San Ramon game parallels the Antioch-Pittsburgh game as a big game, but Monte Vista is playing De La Salle next week, so Monte Vista is actually ahead. Now, looking ahead to these playoffs, it's a little different than in past years. There's an open division of 4 teams that are going to play. And you'd have to say that De La Salle and Clayton Valley are going to be 2 of those teams. So basically, whoever wins the BVAL and whoever wins the EBAL will be the other 2 in that. Although there is a possibility, depending on, they could actually vote a team in that maybe with a tie. So that's where all this stuff's going to become interesting. But then after that, it'll be so let's just say Monte Vista beats San Ramon, they'll be the EBAL representative. If Pittsburgh was to win out, they'd be here. Freedom and Antioch would fall into the next 8. And Heritage would be in that 8 with San Ramon, California, Foothill, San Leandro. And then Irvington is down there at 4-4, needing one more win to qualify to be the 8th team in the sacrificial lamb that has to go play Freedom or Antioch in the first round. Or even perhaps San Ramon. So,
congratulations, you made the playoffs, and now you're going to get whooped.
Well, that's
Well, you never
Guess
know.
what?
You
You
never
made
know.
the playoffs. Guess what?
You
You're
made
playing. You know, California, Tony, a couple years ago, they finished the season against De La Salle. Then the next week they played them in the playoffs. 2 years in a row. They played 4 games. You know how many points they scored in those 4 games? 0.
Yikes.
Shutout every. It was like 206 to nothing in those 4 games.
Ugh. That's a hard week of work to go out there and lay that egg.
Number 21, Aiden Quinn. Back deep for Heritage.
Aiden Quinn has dropped back deep, but these usually aren't going very far, these kickoffs. He kicks this one to about the 26-yard line, out across the 30 to 35-yard line. And on the carry is number 10, Nick Filardo. And that's where the Patriots will set up shop, trailing by 30 as we get underway here in the third quarter. Anthony Schultz and Dan Wall along with you from Antioch High School and Eels Stadium. All Panthers in that first half, as Dan was reading off some of those stats. And you know, the stats themselves obviously looking very much in favor of Antioch, but not quite so much as the score.
No.
36-6. There's a good ring to it if you're Antioch, not so good if you're Heritage. Here's Zellback, throws deep down the field, jump ball, and this one can be knocked away at the last moment. Pass incomplete up near the 40-yard line. Mack was the intended receiver. That was Tariq Mack. And a good defensive play there by Antioch.
Tariq's the physical of the two. He's had a few battles with the Antioch defensive secondary tonight. That time just not. Now there is a penalty marker, but I believe it's on Heritage because we're moving backwards. That's what it looks like when it rains, folks, and you're doing the camera here in an outside venue. Go ahead.
Redwood Painting Company is named one of the publication's 2016 Best of the United States Companies, due in large part to its industry contributions and the forward-thinking nature of the company. That's Redwood Painting Company.
George and Charlie Del Monte, former Antioch Panthers, over there at Redwood Painting for years. They also used to run one of the great softball teams in men's softball and tournaments.
Here's Zell going to give to Tariq Mack, who turns the corner, and Mack going to get out to the across the 30 to about the 33 or 34-yard line. So a pretty nice play there on 1st and 25 following the penalty. So they get a lot of that back, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, I like that move going to Mack. He seems to have a little bit more outside speed if they're going to try to get the ball outside, but they have a lot of ground to make up on this sequence.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 6. 19 yards on that last carry. Here's Zell throwing over the middle, and this one going to be incomplete. Looking for, I believe that's Hassan Williams, number 6. Can't make the catch there as we look at the Antioch sideline.
Number 6, Williams, broken up by number 6, Green.
Day Green there defensively. We're going to bring up a 3rd down and 16 now. A 3rd down and very long as the Patriots need to get to their own 47-yard line. Here's Zell back to pass. Throws over the middle and nearly intercepted again. And on the coverage was Antoine Tanner, number 7. And boy, a little disappointed himself that he didn't make the interception. That's the only thing the Panthers haven't done well, is pick off those passes they should have. They've actually had their hands on about 3 or 4 tonight.
There's been a couple of deflections, but no interceptions. No turnovers in the game, even though we tried a couple of times, and now a second punt. And this is always something interesting because, as we mentioned, Tony, the special teams game in high school football has seemed to change into we don't really want to use our special teams.
Yeah, there was a number of years ago, Dan, where we always said it was going to be a penalty against the Patriots here. We used to talk about in the old days how one of the most difficult things to do in high school football was the place kicking. That never worked out. Then we went through some years, and also in Marin, they were doing it very well for a number of years. And over the last several years, Dan, everybody's taken a step back on
Antioch
place
had
kicking.
a string of great kickers here, including, we always mention Eric Johnson, who went to Stanford, and for, I believe it was an injury. He would have probably kicked in the NFL.
Wilson back deep for Antioch. We have a timeout. Antioch.
So Panthers going to call a timeout.
That'll be their first charge timeout.
That was their first one that they've used here of the half. 36-6 in favor of the Panthers. 11:03 to go here in this third quarter. And it's been all Panthers so far, and they're going to get the football back.
Tony, while I have an opportunity, let's introduce the Heritage coaching staff. Don Sanders in his 4th year, 11th year at Heritage. He's a science teacher during the day. Charlie Renner, T. Mangali, Kurt Schneider, Nick Van Dyke, Clint Ohala, Ron Jackson, Carrington Reyes, Scott Goldstein, and Devin Morgan for the Patriots. As we mentioned, 6-2 coming in, 1-2 in the BVAL. Lost to Freedom last week, 48-14. The week prior, 63-22. So Tony, that's 147 points in 3 games. Unless you're Cal, you're probably not going to win many of those games.
There you see the score. Patriots now in punt formation. And this one is going to be landing inside Patriot territory, but then takes a Heritage bounce to about the 45-yard line of Antioch, and that's where Antioch will set up shop for its next possession. And I would think we would see a little bit less of Najee here as we move along, but really, like you said, Dan, he hasn't been taking the bulk of the carries. This ball's really been spread around quite a bit here tonight.
Well, I think the one thing Antioch does have a little bit more depth this year is at running back. Last year it was pretty much him. All the the guys like Ryan Payne and Beltram, and they were used in different areas of the offense and of course defense.
Here's Day Green with a nice cutback as he gets out across midfield about the 47-yard line of the Heritage Patriots.
Brought down with number 10, Nick Villardo.
Nick Villardo making the stop there. Good run by Green.
Brings up a 2nd and 3.
Just short of the first down. He picks up 7 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Green again, left side. He's going to get the 3 yards and pick up the first down. He's going to get right on the marker, and that will be enough for a first down.
Down by number 20, A.J. Owens.
And he's going to be a guy next year. He's going to be the feature back. And what he offers is a little different than what Najee offers, which is if he can get to a hole, he's got blazing speed. Not that Najee doesn't, but Najee can create a hole and an opportunity to blaze even without. Daylon needs that hole, but when he hits it, he can get some yardage off of it. Here's another run, this time off the right side.
Green again with a nice cutback, breaks a tackle inside the 30, dragged down to about the 25-yard line. And boy, talk about put your foot in the ground and make that cut. Green did it a couple of times and then was able to break a tackle after that. So Green looking very good on that play. Another situation, Dan, where the offensive line here of the Panthers are really dominating the front of the Patriots.
I like the way he runs off a tackle. And he has that speed once he gets outside the edge. And this time they run back to the middle.
Up the middle, inside the 20, down to the 18. So Green, 8 more on that carry. It'll bring up 2nd down and 2.
And of course, he's going to get a little bigger and a little faster, I'm sure, going into his senior year. And he'll be a guy who'll be fun to watch next year. So will Vinny Biardo, we saw in the picture, number 42. He's a sophomore. We're going to see him playing there, and there's another sophomore. So, Antioch is not going to fall off the map next year, folks. It's not going to be, a rebuilding project. I think they'll have some serious talent again next year.
Carthong faked the pitch to Green and then took it right up the middle that time. And he picks himself up a first down. An interesting play there. Kind of turns into what looks like almost like a quarterback draw as they were going outside, and he just took it right up the middle. And again, he finds good room, and that will get it down to the 15-yard line of the Patriots. First down and 10 for the Panthers, looking for yet another touchdown. Man in motion is Tanner. Green going to get it right up the middle, plenty of room, and he's finally going to be dragged down on that tackle. Is number 24, Ryan Sanchez, the senior, but really that's one that if he doesn't make that tackle, the Panthers probably in the end zone again.
And a couple of other notable sophomores for Antioch. Sion Vacu made that nice catch in the first half, and also Alberto Sandoval, their huge center, is a sophomore. So they're going to have a nice basis to pick from when they come back next year. As a matter of fact, just about everyone in that picture right now is a sophomore.
And here's another run. Getting toward the goal line, not quite there. Going to be pushed back just a little bit.
Remind me to bring my Windex next week, Tony, trying to see through these windows. I don't think they've been washed on the 2 years we've been here.
Marcus Bustos, number 34, on the tackle. That's how that will bring up a first down and goal here for Antioch. At Robert Bothman Construction, our entire team is dedicated to achieving the highest possible quality on every project. That's Robert Bothman Construction, and this one stopped inside the 5 again. Let me read that one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
At Robert A. Bothman Construction, our entire team is dedicated to achieving the highest possible quality on every project. Quality people, quality projects. Robert A. Bothman Construction.
Well, we know you could do it, Tony.
Well, sometimes, like you said, Dan, all of a sudden I think I had a minute, and then all of a sudden they get right to the line again.
This stuff is crazy. This Wildcat, quick no huddle stuff. You can hardly. You have to get your comments in little bits and snaps.
Kind of bumper sticker stuff. Carnthong looked like he wanted to throw, cuts back inside the defender, gets right down to the goal line. Willem not quite in, but he kind of rolled to his right and looked like he was going to throw, and then made a nice cut to the inside.
And a 1 on the play brings up a 3rd and goal.
And there has just been running room everywhere. There's the play action pass, play action fake, pulls it down, and is able to get inside.
He almost backed in there, and then here's a Daylon Green. To the 1. So it is amazing, though, the difference. This kind of gives you an idea. Post Najee. Najee, hand the ball to Najee, touchdown. Here you got to work a little bit more. You got to find some different plays to get in. Not necessarily maybe the one you thought could work is going to work every single time. But Antioch will go for it on 4th down.
As always. Here they go, 4th down at the goal line and not going to get in. Green got the football, but number 34, Marcus Bustos, got him. So Heritage finally comes up with a stop right in the shadow of their own goalpost. So they're going to take over 1st and 10. But Dan, hey, they got him stopped defensively. A positive here for Heritage.
It was a defensive stop and a great play by Bustos. That's the good news. The bad news, now you got to go 98 yards to score.
Going to lose a couple of yards as Antioch on that play. But now, just beyond their own end zone right now for Heritage as we get another update. Indians and Cubs, a 1-0.
It's updating. Now, ooh.
Here's Zell back, throws. Got a man down there and makes the catch. Was he in bounds? And they're going to say yes. Well, that was Mack. Did they say out of bounds? Intended for Tariq Mack. And he did make the catch, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah, actually, the Cubs are 2 outs, bottom 9, runner at second, 1-0 Indians. Warriors have pulled away 97-83. And now let's go check the big football score and see if it's changed at all.
Second down and 10. Here's Zell with a low snap. Nick handles that, throws deep down the field, and this one is going to be intercepted at the 35-yard line. And on the interception, number 23, Isaiah Dunn. And it looked like he spun the ball. I'm not sure if they're going to call a penalty for that, but a flag does come in at the end of the play. So the first interception of the ball game. And reading the stats today, the Heritage Patriots came in with, it said 17 interceptions. I was wondering if that wasn't a misprint or not.
No. Have they thrown 4 or have they made
actually 7? Intercepted 17
No,
passes.
he's only been intercepted 5 according to the stats, unless the backups have come into games and thrown interceptions. But
no, Heritage has taken away the ball.
So they have 17 interceptions
times.
Is spinning the ball really something that's going to cause a riot? I'm just asking. I don't know. Pittsburgh still ahead 21-14 in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the personal foul is going to go against the Panthers, and it's actually going to be a blow to the head.
Oh, then that deserves a penalty flag. I thought when you spun the ball, it was going to be a.
And then they also got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on top of that.
Oh, so now it's 30 yards and penalty. See, the spinning the ball, I don't get that one. I'm sorry. It's not the ref's fault. They have to call it. It's just I don't know that that should be a rule. Now, why are they walking towards the goal line?
Well, this is very odd. Now, I
This
thought they
looks like
called.
it's against Heritage.
I thought they called both penalties against.
We had 2 penalties on the play, both against Antioch.
We're going to go back to the line of scrimmage and mark it off from there is
First
what they were
penalty is
doing.
a personal foul against Antioch. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Had a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against Antioch.
So the blow to the head must have been to the quarterback, because I didn't see anything on the
30
interception.
yards of penalties.
So then once they got that, then they tacked on the celebration, which they would have had a penalty anyway and a first down, so they gained. That's probably the biggest play of the night.
34.
So from their own 34-yard line now for the Patriots, as they've got a fresh set of downs.
That was kind of crazy.
5 wide receiver spread, 3 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Zell all by himself in the backfield under some pressure, trying to step away from a defender, can't do it. And on the sack that time, Elijah Avery. We've called his name a number of times. And that's unfortunate for the Patriots, Dan, because if he could have got away from Avery, if Zell could have got away, he would have had plenty of time, because Avery was the only one in the backfield that time beside the quarterback, Nick Zell.
Well, you know, it's kind of amazing. It's almost like Antioch is blitzing whenever they want to, and dialing up that blitz, and when they want to get to the quarterback, they've been able to. The other times it seems like they haven't really done that, just leaving their front 3 or 4 to rush. But when they bring multiple men, Zell's been in trouble most of the night.
Nick from the shotgun, back to pass he goes, under pressure again, runs away from it this time, cuts it out across the 30, and then is going to slide up at about the 35-yard line.
On the caper, slides down, ball will be spotted.
He got most
gain
of that
time.
back, and now it's 3rd and 10 after that slide. He's pretty good at the slide down, Tony. He's looking ahead to perhaps a Sunday afternoon profession one day.
8 yards for Zell,
The Heritage 35.
but that'll still bring up 3rd down and 10, operating from their own 35-yard line. Need the 45. Here comes the blitz. Zell releases. This one's up for grabs. It's going to be out of bounds. Looked like he was throwing just a jump ball that time, as everybody was well covered. And on the defense that time was number 23, Isaiah Dunn.
So 4th down again, and Heritage, despite the fact that they were able to hold Tony, they have they're just kind of running out of answers, I guess, right now. They've, I think that there's some openings in Antioch's defense, but they're just not finding them. They found them a few times, and it's amazing that one drive. They came right down the field. They looked great when they made it 22-6, and since then they've struggled again on offense.
Low snap that time. Ball is away. And this one's going to hit and take a bounce inside the 30-yard line, picked up by Antioch. And here's a nice return to the 45, across midfield, cuts it back at the 35, inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line, Isaiah Dunn. Boy, he picked that one up. It looked like it was going to be a dangerous play, but what a return.
Great. We have to get the block, though, on the replay. I want to say 28. These numbers aren't the easiest to read sometimes either with the black on black. But
like it was Omari
someone
Harris.
just got, watch on the right side. Okay, watch on the right side. Once he comes around. Okay. Now watch right there. Pancake the guy. That's a beautiful block there. I still can't really get the number out of that, but that was a fantastic. And that's something you don't see. Antioch kind of doesn't use the return a lot. They just let the ball bounce usually unless they have an easy shot at it. And they're probably going to need that in the next couple of weeks as things progress.
It's got to be very frustrating for the Patriots here. 1st down to 10 from the 12-yard line. And here's Antoine Tanner, left side, right into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. And boy, that was just way, way too easy. And you have to feel for the Patriots. They go 6-0, Dan. Then they get into the tough part of the schedule. And not only is it tough, but it's just downright brutal.
Brutal. You're talking about 3 of the top 10 teams in the Bay Area that you had to play in a row. And this play right here, they've run that little inside reverse play so many times. That time Tanner gets the ball. And as you mentioned, Najee's, I think he's on the bench. visiting with the Alabama coaches. I don't think you can do that during the game.
He's probably on the sideline.
It's
drinking
probably a
Mai Tai.
violation, but he's probably
non-alcoholic Mai Tai, but
he might even
Torres
be
for the extra point.
coaching at this point because he hasn't seen the field here in the second half, and I doubt if he will. It is as important as next week's game is shaping up to be. So we do have a final in the World Series, Tony. The Indians take a 2-1 lead with a 1-0 win. Cubs had runners at second and third with 2 outs and could not score. Warriors are ahead by 14 now. Lots of things going on, Tony. It's very interesting, and Pittsburgh's still ahead by a touchdown in the third quarter. So we have a lot of – this is a great time of year. You got the World Series, you got the NBA starts, the NHL has been going, football's good, getting to the important games, college football, you got high school, college. Hell, there's football almost every day.
Every sport is going on
and
right
today
now.
there's no football, Tony. There's wrestling or UFC on. I mean, you just can't get you just it's crazy.
Win back deep for Heritage. Abraham Torres to kick
So
off.
43-6, 4:13 to go here in this final quarter, and it's almost time for the mercy rule here, Dan.
I think we're at it. 35 points, I believe, is the mercy rule in high school now. The clock will run in the fourth quarter. And I think you have to agree on that. Some guys don't want to do it because they want to get as much playing time as they can.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, Dan, when you just risk guys getting hurt in a situation this ball goes out of bounds. But you risk guys getting hurt, Dan, and right now the Patriots having such a tough time. I just don't know how fired up they are for each play right now.
It definitely can weigh on you at this point, but you know what you got to do now if you're Don Sanders? You got to play for 2 weeks from now. You're going to make the playoffs. You know, if you beat Deer Valley next week, you're 7-3. That's still a very presentable record, and not embarrassing to lose to 3 powerhouse teams. But they haven't beaten a really big team, and that's what they're going to have to aim for, and they have to find a way to do it in the playoffs.
And there's a high snap, pulled down by Zell. He's under pressure immediately, trying to get away. He'll just slide down. And Zell is going to be back to the 28-yard line, so he is going to lose about 7 yards of that play, and he really did, Dan, all he could to keep that ball from going back toward his own goal line.
And you know the template that teams are going to take away from this, they're going to use Antioch's game plan tonight and say, this is a way to stop them. Antioch brought pressure from the first play. Coach LUCIDO told me they were going to bring pressure early, and they have stopped Heritage's offense.
Stopped it cold, with the exception of that one drive after the Patriots had gotten down 22-6. And here is a blitz, and this one is going to be out to Quinn, who can't make the catch. But boy, they had the blitzer coming right through. That was Cameron Nathan. That's happened a couple of times where Nathan has come off the edge untouched. He got in for a sack one time, and then forced that ball out a little bit early, and Quinn simply wasn't ready for the pass.
And he's the Najee Harris of their defense. You'd think that someone would be assigned to him. He leads them in tackles, leads them in sacks, probably leads them in hits.
But a couple times now we've seen Quinn go out on that flare route, and a corner or a safety has run right past him into the backfield. Zell rolls right, throws, far side deep's got a man. That ball is going to be caught and is going to be out of bounds for a big play. Tyrese Mack on the reception, and that might be the biggest play of the game so far for the Heritage Patriots.
Yeah, he just picked Mack out of the piece. Said, go route and I'll hit you. And he did that here. Look, he only takes a couple step drop, and he just flings this one, lets him run under. A lot of air under that ball. Look at that right there. That was beautiful. Over the shoulder, no chance of interception, and probably the best and nicest looking play of the night so far for Heritage.
And Nate Powell on the coverage, beaten. And it's a big play for the Patriots as they get inside the 35-yard line. Here is a quick pass coming to the running back, and no chance there as he takes a big hit as Quinn takes a shot from Nate Jackson. And boy, that's one. The ball's coming to Quinn, and I think he has got to hear the footsteps because the defense and Nate Jackson were bearing right down on him. Second down and 10 for Heritage. Still 3:15 to go in the third, but we should get the running clock here in the fourth quarter and the mercy rule. And this time it looked like the illegal procedure will be the call against Heritage.
Haven't had a lot of penalties tonight, which is good. Remember last year, Antioch, that was the one thing. I mean, they'd win game 62-7, but have 20 penalties in the game. This year, I think they've cleaned that up. You know, when I talked to John before the season, one thing he was worried about, he was always worried about the center snap. And that's something that, other than that De La Salle game, has never been a problem for Antioch this year. Just, can you imagine the two probably most important snaps of the year were hiked over the quarterback's head? You take those away, and it's been perfect.
And that was actually a very close game they played against De La Salle. Here's another high snap. Zell pulls it down again, throws it, and this ball is going to be intercepted. Oh, what a pick by Daylon Greens. And Day comes up with it. It was intended for his opposite number, Hassan Williams, and Green simply took it away from him.
That was a great interception right there. That was, now when you come down to who wants the most, that was a who wants it to most play right there. Green wanted that interception. I mean, who knows? He's a guy that doesn't start in the defensive backfield, probably playing because of the score right now. And, you know, that maybe that's his first interception since he was playing youth football.
Second interception of the ball game for the Antioch Panthers. Take another look at it. And Green right where he needs to be, and he just took it away. Great play by Day.
Yeah, took it away from Williams. Williams has been in the game and been in a lot of plays tonight, too. They do have some really good receivers. He tends to like the Mack twins and Williams, though. There's a couple others over there that can play as well.
And to the outside, and then finally dragged out of bounds.
And that was Dorsey. I'll tell you what, Antioch has a stable of running backs. There's a lot of guys that can carry the ball over there.
And Damone Dorsey, number 8, getting his chance out on that left flank of that Patriot defense. And boy, whether it be on the flanks, whether it be up the middle, I think sometimes the up the middle plays have been more devastating than the ones on the flanks. And then Carthon's been able to throw the ball when he's wanted to as well, and the score completely reflects that. 43-6.
Reverse.
There's one going up the middle.
You know, the things we see, you remember in the old days, Tony, it was easy. You ran a post. Why did they call it a post? Because you ran to the post, the goal post, right? You ran to the flag. It was a flag. You'd button hooked. You turned around. And now they have all like, oh, that was a jet sweep left 42 punch to the gut. It's what, you know, can we just call it what it is?
Well, so much of that verbiage is all about who's going to get blocked too, right?
Yeah, well, it all is.
And this one is going to go out across the 35-yard line to the 36. And this will bring up third down. And about 5, maybe 6 yards to go.
Well, that is a big difference. And I talked, it was either him or Liberty's Coach Walters about, you know, we used to run 28 sweep, which was the 2-back through the 8-hole. And that's how you block. You know, pick a guy and block him. They don't even have holes. They don't pick holes anymore. It's all based on zone and based on reads and based on who you see and what you see during the play. It's way different than it was 40 years ago.
That stretch play on those running plays, he just the back picks where he wants to go.
That was great play action that time.
Play
Beautiful.
action, and this one caught. That's going to be a first down. And that will be Kobe Williams, number 32, on the catch that time. And that will be a first down for Antioch. And that was a nice-looking play that time by the Panthers.
And that was a great play. Kobe Williams, he caught the touchdown 2 weeks ago against Liberty, that long 73-yard touchdown. I asked John about that one, too. I said, John, what'd you do there? Was it an audible? Because you remember that play, they had no safety help. He goes, no, that was just the play, and we got lucky.
Here's Damone again, and he has out across midfield, and he's going to pick up a first down. He's going to have about 11, maybe 12 yards on that carry. That'll be another first down. Damone Dorsey again. And Antioch, Dan, it just doesn't matter who they give the ball to or throw the ball to. Everybody's making plays in this offense.
Yeah, this is a good game for Antioch. They're looking really good on offense. Everyone's getting involved, and they're going to need it. By the way, Tony, an update, 24-21 Pittsburgh in the third quarter. Freedom returned the touchdown after a Pitt field goal.
Carthon going deep down the field. This one's going to be knocked away at the last moment. Good looking play there, and that is going to be Tyrese Mack, number 3, able to knock that one away at the last moment, making a fine play as Carthon was going for the home run ball. As we've gone under a minute to go here in this third quarter.
But, you know, look at this too, Tony. It's a sophomore quarterback throwing a pass 40 yards down the field, and a pretty darn good pass. Maybe just a little bit more on it.
Intended for Gaudy Campbell, but Mack able to make the play. Second down and 10 for the Panthers from the Patriot 45. And right over the right side, nobody there. A huge play, and they get inside the 30-yard line. 17 yards on that play. That'll bring up another first down. Dorsey again, and boy, Dan, the line was just absolutely obliterated by the Panthers that time. On the defensive left side, Dorsey got the ball, and you want to talk about running downhill. Boy, that's running down a cliff.
But one of the first holding penalties of the game, so Antioch forced back. I'll tell you what, in the fourth quarter, we'll talk a little bit more about the Pitt-Antioch game. You know, we haven't seen Pittsburgh this year. I did send Vic a email telling him we were going to be coming this week, and he welcomed us to come. You go, Vic and John are two, not that all the coaches aren't great, but those two really, they really lay it out for you, especially Vic, who has never told a lie in his life. Hi, Vic.
We got a couple of funny stories about Vic. And this one's going to be bottled up, so the Patriots able to get the stop this time following the penalty. But you talk about a guy like Vic Galley as we tick under 10 seconds to go now in this third quarter, and that will be the last play of the third quarter.
And we're at the end of the third quarter, Tony. In the Pittsburgh game, there are 8 minutes left in the third quarter, 24-21. As I was trying to mention on that break, they returned to kickoff for a touchdown after a 24-14 lead for Pitt.
And that will do it. The end of the third quarter, 43-6 in favor of the Antioch Panthers.
We have a third quarter score, Pitt 24.
And let's send it down the sideline and Mike Cronenwett.
Just let me know when. All right, it's the end of the third quarter, and I'm here with USC running back coach Tommy Robinson as the Trojans were successful last night, beating the Bears. And, Coach, we were talking off camera a little bit. Tell the viewers, so, you know, every high school got a stud running back or a good lineman. What's the big thing college coaches look at when they're just looking at a kid potentially to recruit?
Well, you know, you come out to the games, you get a chance to see more than what you get to see on the film. Like, you don't get to see on film what happened, what a kid do after the play. You know, what's his mannerism like? Is he interacting with his teammates? You know, how does he react to a busted play and things of that nature? So you get a chance to see a lot of the things that you can't see on tape.
So, fourth quarter begins. Wild-looking play here. And Carnthong on the keeper, but he's going to lose a couple of yards as we start the quarter. And I'm wondering if both coaches agreed to go with the mercy rule. We'll find out, I guess, momentarily. A lot of times the officials would give us a signal.
Sorry, we
stepped on him that time.
Communication breakdown there on the. Oh, and there's an Antioch punt.
Wow. Stop the presses. This one is going to drop right down to the 2-yard line. Antioch trying to keep it from going into the end zone. I don't think they were able to do that. But, boy, that was a good-looking punt. And now are they going to –
Ball will be spotted at.
It looks like they can't mark it on the goal line. It looks like it was on the goal line right there.
Now, Tony, I just got to ask a question. The ball died at the 1. It wasn't bouncing around. There's no Heritage guy here. Why do you have to slide into it and kick it in the end zone?
Well, you talked about special teams, Dan.
That wasn't very special that time. You might want to work on that one, Coach, during the week.
That was less than special.
That was not special.
The
clock is running, Tony, so I guess they're letting it go.
And they are. We are clearly, after a change of possession, you would certainly see a stoppage here, but we are not getting that. The clock continues to roll, and the Patriots, another drive starting deep in their own end. Hand off, trying to go off to the left, and not a whole lot of room to be found here for the Patriot ball carrier. Trying to see who that was coming out of that pile. Tough to make out who actually carried the ball that time. Almost looked like number 20, A.J. Owens. I don't believe it was 21, Quinn.
Owens has had a couple of carries.
Yeah, I think it is A.J. Owens, number 20, who carried it that last time, but no gain on the play. Zell fires deep down the field. Mack is there. He makes a nice adjustment and makes the catch at the 30, gets to the 35-yard line, first down, and the defense provided by Sion Vaki. Isaiah Avery, number 24, on the coverage.
Gain of 30 on the play.
That was a good play up for both guys, but when Avery turned around, which was someone that you could hear the sideline telling, turn around, you're going to get a penalty if you don't. He just happened to turn at the last second. The ball was delivered to Mack nicely, and he made that great catch.
Here's Zell under pressure, hit just before he throws the ball. Looking for Williams down the field on the go route, and it was over his head, and you can see why. When Zell went back, immediately there was pressure, and that time down he knew he was going to get hit. He had to get rid of the ball.
And that's where a lot of his pressure passes have come from.
And that's a couple of times where we've seen Williams on those go routes open down the field, and the Patriots have not been able to hit that one tonight.
And you know, the times they're open too, Tony, if you notice, he's good at throwing the ball to the sideline. When he throws it down the middle of the field like that, the vision isn't as good. It's more jumbled than when you got a one-on-one on the sideline. So he's missed a few of those throws that could have been big plays.
Clock continues to roll as we roll under 8 minutes to go. Patriots trying to put a little cosmetic surgery on this one. There's another blitz. Zell under pressure. He's going to flip it to Hassan, and he looked like he stepped out of bounds when he caught the ball. He did. And some of the Antioch coaches down there pointing to the spot where he stepped on the ground to make sure the officials didn't miss it, but they didn't.
At some point, someone needs to grab someone in white and say, see number 5, don't let him hit our quarterback, because he has been loose numerous times. Wow. Zell has thrown the ball 35 times tonight in this game, Tony. We'll have to wait for the final stats. I can't count that fast. That's a lot of attempts, though, in a high school football game.
Zell back, throws over the middle a little bit high. Mack went up for it, couldn't make the catch. That was Tyrese that time. That ball a little bit too high. He stretched out to get it, just had to go off his hands.
You can tell the ball tends to sail a little bit on him when he throws it down the middle of the field.
And that was a fourth down play, or that will bring up a fourth down play. And the punting unit on the field here for the Patriots. Clock continues to run. So the Antioch Panthers, really a sparkling game here for them. They pretty much did everything well, and not just well, man. They were dominant, particularly on offense.
And, you know, this is what's kind of screwy about this offense, too, Tony, is when you're running 4 wide, you have no back to block for your quarterback. It's almost like you need to throw the ball quicker. You know, you got to hit the guys right out. You cannot sit back and wait. That's why sometimes I miss the old fullback next to the quarterback, taking out that first guy that comes across the line, giving you some time to throw, letting patterns set up. It seems like here there's not enough time to really get settled, and you're sailing the ball down to one of your receivers, and everyone's kind of running go routes and trying to get open 20 yards down the field. What's wrong with an 8-yard pass? What's wrong with a 7-yard pass? Let the guy run for 5 yards.
Well, I'll tell you, the way Cameron Nathan has been coming into the backfield on a couple of occasions tonight, that's just dangerous for the quarterback. I mean, a situation where he's got his head down and he is running so fast, he makes contact. I mean, sometimes the quarterback doesn't get up after those. Here's the punt by Antioch. This one is going to hit at the 45, or by the Patriots rather. Take a nice Patriot roll inside the 30 down to about the 26-yard line of the Panthers. They'll take over their 1st and 10, but the competitive phase of this game long since over. As we're looking at the scoreboard, 43-6 in favor of Antioch.
And Tony, you remember some of the good old days with Metal Matt Bolander and Ronn Carter doing games. And remember there was a few times when we were like praying the tape wouldn't run out because we were taping it because the game went long, and like last time we heard the lights went out. This game isn't even 2 hours old right now, and there's only 4 minutes left in the game. I think we're going to get this one in, guys.
All right, here's Antioch. Carthon still in the ball game. Haven't seen a whole lot of Najee lately. Carthon going to swing this out, a little hitch route to the outside. And breaking a tackle and then getting out across the 40-yard line. And that is Isaiah Dunn on the reception. RGM and Associates specialized in coordinating the design and construction of public facilities, including public schools, such as right here at Antioch High School, another proud sponsor of Panther football.
Najee hasn't been out since halftime. The Alabama coaches took his cell phone away and told his mailman, don't come near his house unless it says U of A on it, and not Auburn. If it doesn't say Alabama on the letter, don't deliver it. That's got to be a hard decision. Where do you go? Alabama, #1 team in the country. Michigan, they're going to be in the top 4.
know.
It's hard. It's like USC, your classic tailback U. Notre Dame, all these teams are looking at you. I mean, that's got to be a tough decision for a kid, especially if you've never been away from home and you're going to go to an area you've never are familiar with, you know.
Yeah, well, a tough decision was for me was like, you know, whether to go to a trade school or what JC to go to.
Well, that was
So
my
he had a
that wasn't
little
tough.
better
I
than
went to
I did.
LMC.
Handoff. Trying to go through. Nice cutback that time, and that is Dorsey again. And boy, yeah, Dorsey's looked pretty good too on some of those cuts.
He's a quality player as well, but he's a senior. He's getting some of his last stuff. You know, Tony, one thing, like if someone had offered me a scholarship like that, I'd have went to Cal, because I never would have wanted to leave the area. I love this area. My parents could come watch me play. You know, that I would never want to be away from my family. So it would have been easier for me than some of the choices these guys have to make.
Oh, Antioch, this one, ow. Oh, that could have been a personal foul there with the quarterback on the ground. The defender coming in looked like he was leading with his helmet. It was kind of an ugly looking play right there for Carnthong, but Willem able to get up, and he appears to be okay. Thank goodness. 2:27 to go. So Heritage has won their first 6. They scored over 40 once. That was in the opener at Tokay of Lodi, and they scored over 50 twice against Berkeley and at Liberty. But then blown out in back-to-back weeks, Pittsburgh and then at Freedom Dam. The Pitt game 63-22. The Freedom game 48-14. You know the score in this one. God, just got to be so frustrating for the Heritage Patriots. This one's going to be in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That was Jameer Wilson. Ball a little bit low. Jameer could not hang on. But then you play so well through the first 6. You know you're going to play some tough teams, a tough part of your schedule, some of the best teams in the area, and it wasn't even close any one of the 3 times.
Well, that's the trouble with trying to figure out a schedule and trying to, you know, look at who Pittsburgh's played this year. Look who Antioch's played this year. They've played big-time schedules. Antioch played De La Salle. Pittsburgh played Sarah, who's a big team on the peninsula. So it's tough. And when you get into this league, and this is a tough league. There's a lot of good teams in this league. As a matter of fact, you have 3 of the top 10 teams in this area are in this league.
And the BVAL is loaded. There's another good punt by Antioch. Boy, they can punt, and they can punt well.
Yeah, they've, like I said, and now, so we got about a minute left. Folks, next week, if you've never been to one, you should always try to check one out. Most of us around here have. I've been going to Big Little games since 1967, if you can believe that, and have called numerous ones, and some with Tony. So it's going to be a big weekend. Right now, Pittsburgh's ahead by 3, so that game is far from decided. But if they win out, then whoever wins that game will force a 3-way tie atop the BVAL, and then we'll have to see what happens in the playoffs. But both of these teams out here on the field right now are going to be playoff teams, so we're going to see them again. It just depends on who they play and where they play.
There's a nice catch. Julian Sanchez, the senior, making his first catch of the night. As the time running out, maybe a couple of plays left here. And then Heritage calling timeout.
Hey, use them.
But, well, you can't blame them.
No, you got to do something
put
positive
something
here.
on the board here.
You know, you got to feel positive. And next week will be, Tony, the 25th anniversary game of the first game we ever did out here for the old Viacom Antioch-Pittsburgh game, me and Clay Callum. And a classic game. Pitt won that game 21-19. There were at least 8 and possibly more Division I players in that game. So we're going to do our best to get some history for you for next week. Get some. We're going to figure out if it's the 78th and 98th or somewhere in between Big Little game before we go on the air next week. somewhere online there's a site that has a lot of stuff about the BLG.
Interesting. Love to see it.
At the Antioch 46.
All right, Patriots. Maybe 2 more plays here. And that time it's number 17, Luke Lang, the junior, getting his first look. Oh, look for Luke. And Lang stretching out there, and they're going to stop the clock with 5 seconds left, so we still have 1 more play in this game. Pitt looking to go 4-0 and 9-0 overall. Freedom, the same thing. It was, I think, a 3-point lead the last time Dan looked. Antioch going to go to 3-1 in league at 6-3 overall. Heritage falls now to 1-3 in league. They'll go to 6-3 overall. And then Deer Valley and Liberty both 0-6 now combined.
And they're playing tonight for to see who in that
contest.
lower tier is the best of the 2 down there. This was an interesting night. The top 2 played, the middle 2 played, and the lower 2 played in the
Heritage will
BVAL.
have a 2nd and 9 from the Antioch 45.
Last 5 seconds. And this will be the last play of the game. Lang throws, and this one going to be incomplete. And that will do it. A final score here from Eels Stadium in Antioch. The Panthers win it by a final of 43-6. Dan, this was never in doubt. 22-0 right off the bat in this ball game. The Patriots came back to put in a touchdown at that point to make it 22-6. But Dan, they simply could not stop the Antioch offense tonight.
It was 3 touchdowns, a touchdown, and 3 more touchdowns. And Heritage struggled in the second half to move the ball. So, you know, after watching this game tonight, it looks like Antioch has righted the ship. They came in a couple weeks ago at 3-3 after the loss to Freedom, and then they wheeled off 3 victories in a row. Next week, another big challenge against what could be an undefeated team, but still, it doesn't matter. It's the big little game, and of course, one of the greatest big little games ever played was when Antioch was 1-8 and Pitt was 8-1, and Antioch beat them in Pittsburgh, a big upset. So you just never know in a rivalry game. Should be a great one. We'll be here as always, Tony. I think it's about my 20th big little game on TV. I love doing it, and
it's
look
awesome,
forward to
isn't it?
doing it with you.
And, you know, I'll tell you, Dan, when it's so much fun to come out here and do these games with you. One problem that we've had, and it's a good problem to have because Antioch has been torching the people that we've watched them play here, but the competitive phase of these games usually is ending pretty early. What I really love about last year's big little game and that 80-plus point barrage that we had was that game was in doubt right into the last couple of seconds. Remember, Pitt had the ball at the end, trailing by just a few points.
And I think the closest game I've done this year, Tony, tonight was 37. Liberty game was over, I think, 40, 39. Lincoln to Stockton, 30-something, and then the one game I did in Walnut Creek was a 30-point game. So I have yet to have it inside a 30-point game. I mean, it's fun to watch, and you like to watch, you know, especially it's easier when it's your alma mater winning the games. You know, it's fun for me to see Antioch. It's nice to see Antioch's football program back where it belongs, because this is always a football town. This is always a football school, and for a while. So Mike doesn't have anything for us down on the sideline. So I guess when Ron and Carter and the boys are ready to go, we can wrap this one up.
I guess we can take a break here and come back with the final stats and a final word here from Eels Stadium. We'll step aside and come back right after this.
Yeah.
All right, and now we've got the final totals courtesy of Dave Jackson and the final totals on tonight's game.
Well, amazingly, Heritage under 100 yards in the second half. We said they did struggle. 439 to 207 running yards in the game. 332 for Antioch. Just 37 yards rushing for Heritage. So Antioch's defense did a great job shutting them down. I don't think the running game is their strength, though. It's the passing game, and they did a great job there. Zell had 36 attempts tonight. Not many completions. There was a couple of long ones and one for a nice touchdown, but that was about it for Heritage tonight. Najee Harris only 136 yards and 2 TDs. They didn't need him tonight. You know, he and they in the second half they didn't want him to get hurt. It was pretty much over at that point. So it's looking like a showdown. Pittsburgh just took a 31-21 lead, folks, over in the fourth quarter at Pittsburgh against Freedom. And as we stated, next week, if Antioch won, which they did, and Pittsburgh wins, next week will be for a co-championship for Antioch if they beat Pittsburgh, because Freedom lost to Pitt, Antioch lost to Freedom, and Pitt would have lost to Antioch if they win that game. So it's going to be an exciting big little game, lots of action. Hopefully it's like last year's and not like the one we did 6 years ago. Which was like 28-0 3 minutes into the game.
Could be the most complete game by Antioch this year, considering the offense and defense, and also considering, Dan, the special teams. They actually did pretty well with that. We saw them punt a few times today as well.
Well, they need to work on that stuff. You can't just keep throwing away like it doesn't exist. You're going to need it at some point. And as the teams get better, the competition gets better. And as we said, Antioch's in a weird situation. If they go to that upper playoff, they can play for a state championship. If they go to the lower Division I, all they can play for is the North Coast Championship. But, at this point, you got to wonder, a team like Antioch, who was so down 4 or 5 years ago, to just get back and maybe win a North Coast Section Championship with no De La Salle waiting for them at the end of that this year, that might be the ultimate goal for these teams. A team like Pittsburgh, who has won the North Coast Section Championship, although it was 25 years ago the last time De La Salle lost, they're probably really antsy about getting to the state championship because they've never been. But for Antioch, it would be great just to get to the playoffs, and maybe that they're going to have to play Freedom or Pittsburgh if they're in that lower bracket, if one of those go to the upper bracket. So can you imagine another Pitt-Antioch game or another Antioch-Freedom game for the final? It could happen.
So a fantastic game for Antioch here tonight, and that wraps it up and, of course, sets the stage for what could be a great big little game next week. Well, for all of us here at Delta TV, for Dan Wall, I'm Anthony Schultz saying so long from Eel Stadium in Antioch, and we'll see you next week on Saturday for the big little game.